And we then went straight into the discussion in the plenary session, where I think that the two themes that came out to me were the question of awareness and the involvement of religious communities in going from the very local to the very global, but also the questions of accountability. And I think that those stayed with us through the day. We went on to one of the series of 6 breakouts. I was part of one that was focused on crossing bridges among the different sectors. So one of the words we're hearing very often is silos, the whole sense of people being divided into different ways of thinking, different ways of living and being, and the vital importance in our interconnected world of bringing them all together. There were 5 other sessions, and as we've said before, there are note takers or rapporteurs in each session, and we will be distilling as well as making the recordings of each of those sessions available. We then went on to the next theme. So the 4th theme was related to sustainability and the G20 objectives, but also to the critical issues of disaster preparation, prevention, response, and the way that that fits into the overall questions of climate change. We then went on to the final plenary, which focused on the vital issue of vulnerability. And that, in one sense, was one of the liveliest discussions that we've heard here, because it challenged us with all of the basic issues of inequality. Because we know that each and every one of us is vulnerable. Each and every one of us has vulnerabilities. But we know that vulnerability is unequal, and that it's of critical importance that we have an understanding of that. And so then we went again into a series of breakout groups. I was part of the one that focused on refugees and migrants. In every case, when I asked people how the sessions went, the responses, with very few exceptions, has been that they have been exciting, lively, informative, and challenging. And so I think it will behoove us well to listen to them. One final comment, a group here that we have not mentioned and highlighted before is the group of Catholic sisters who are here with the support of the Hilton Foundation. They're also related to a Georgetown University program on women's leadership. But I think that their presence is, in some senses, a response to the challenge of bringing women's voices, but even more women's agendas into the global agenda and into our discussions within the specific religious interfaith context. We're now going to hear a video message from Vinu Aram from India. Vinu's video got here later than the early session, but she is one of the many partners in our network of networks. And she is also, as are Ndidi, Amanda, Musimbi, Naila, and so many others, global women leaders who come from a religious perspective. She's the co-president of Religions for Peace. She's also involved with the Arigato Global Network of Religions for Children. And so she is one of our vital partners. So over to Vinu.
Warm greetings from India to each of you who have gathered for the G20 Interfaith Forum in South Africa.
Do you want to take this off?
Whenever we meet in these global meetings, there is the possibility of not only listening to one another, but I think also the possibility of daring to dream, daring to do what we can do together. So allow me in the next 2 or 3 minutes to share my thoughts, both as president of Shanti Ashram, but also as co-moderator of Religions for Peace, where we constantly and continuously harness the power of interfaith collaboration. If you look around the world today, of course, what consumes you is violence, violent images, and the consequence of violence in people's lives. I know you will speak about it. So allow me the freedom to step back and to think about 3 things which I hope can add to the richness of your conversation. The first is Swadharma, a concept in India where one is allowed the freedom to connect with oneself, our own innate nature. And by connecting with oneself and people around, we find our purpose. In gatherings such as this, while it seems intense and many people and many sessions, I have always found the time to find my quiet corner, to find the time with my conscience, my mind, and the ability to do something, to find and renew my Swadharma, the purpose and the innate nature of a person. Of course, when we meet like this, and I saw the beautiful group photo you took at the G20 Interfaith Forum yesterday, the image itself speaks for itself, where people, diverse stakeholders, including religious communities, religious leaders, people from government, people who bring service to community, the last mile connectors, you're all together here. We have a beautiful word in the Indian tradition, we call it satsang, the company of good and able people. I hope that is also a gift you will take back from this G20 Interfaith Forum. Satsang, the company of people who are not only good, who have connected with their Swadharma, but as communities want to do something that can make this world a better place. This satsang doesn't happen automatically. There is a convening that is necessary. And therefore, my congratulations to the leadership of the G20 Interfaith Forum for convening so many of you at a time where the world has seen the highest spike in violence and conflict, at a time where children are experiencing deprivation, poverty, and almost a lack of hope. Many children are out of their homes. They are in camps, in refugee camps. Many children are deprived their fundamental rights to food, to education, to love and to life. Here the satsang has a greater meaning. As I speak of Swadharma and I speak of satsang, I have to speak about action. You in the forum are speaking about Ubuntu in action, a thought and a concept that our African brothers and sisters have given the entire world. I am because you are, Ubuntu. And you have added to it Ubuntu in action. I hope when you leave the forum, you will have concrete ideas and the energy to do what we can do together. There are 2 areas that I want to flag off. One, coming from the world of children, the experience of hunger, the weaponization of food, the breakdown of the chain of food distribution, and the inability of children to have a decent life with food is bothering me. It is bothering me every day. This is not the world experience that children must have in the most formative period of their life. Please consider looking at the area of food and nutritional security. Professor M.S. Swaminathan, the famous agriculture scientist who won the first World Food Prize, said, "The future of a nation is not a nation with guns. The future of a nation is good where there is grains for everyone." The second that I want you to consider is the climate for peace. We have just celebrated the 80th year of the bombing of Hiroshima. The suffering, the consequence of violent means stares at us from Hiroshima, but also in the conflicts around the world. So Ubuntu in action, amongst everything else that we discussed, please consider discussing food and nutritional security, and please consider discussing also how we can create a public opinion, a public climate, an environment where we can dream of peace. From the land of Mahatma Gandhi, I send you greetings. From the land of 1 billion people, I look at you with hope so that we can do what we must do together. Ubuntu in action. The realization of the message, I am because you are. My congratulations again to both the conveners and the leadership, including my dear friend Dr. Katherine Marshall, but all of you and the participants who have decided to come together to do something for our global family.
Thank you. Well, I believe that over the course of the past 4 days, we have heard a lot, we've written a lot of notes. Now it's time for us to engage in interactive fishbowl discussions that will be split into breakout sessions. If you refer to the program, you'll see that different topics are allocated to different rooms. The food fishbowl session will be in this ballroom, breakout room 1. The education session will be in breakout room 3. The data global governance will be in breakout room 4. Disaster preparedness, breakout room 5. And vulnerable communities in breakout room 6. May we start moving to our prompt locations.